The Supreme Court justices led by Chief Justice Dr. Flavian Nzeija unanimously granted the petition filed by Robert Kasibante seeking permission to withdraw the 2026 presidential election petition he had lodged against President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, the Electoral Commission, and the Attorney General. Accordingly, the Chief Justice Dr. Flavian Nzeija declared NRM's General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni as a duly elected President of the Republic of Uganda.
And presidential election application number 1 of 2056 are hereby dismissed on account of withdrawal. Following the withdrawal of presidential elections petition number 1 of 2026 and there being in existence no valid legal challenge of the results of the presidential election held on 15th of January 2026, we, by the unanimous decision of the court, made in accordance with Section 61, Subsection 4 of the Presidential Elections Act, Cap 179, hereby declare and confirm that the first respondent, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni Ruhabulwa, being recanted earlier declared by the second respondent, the Electoral Commission, as the winner of the presidential elections, is hereby duly elected President of Uganda.
In withdrawing the petition, Robert Kasibante cited financial challenges, noting that prosecuting the petition required him over $500 to conduct a comprehensive audit on biometric voter verification kit machines in order to obtain evidence. In a ruling read by Justice Muzaminu Mutangula Chidedi, all the 9 justices agreed that the available evidence was insufficient to sustain the petition. The justices advised that future petitioners should carefully consider the consequences and costs of challenging presidential elections which involve evidence collection from 5,000 polling stations within 45 days.
While making the decision to institute the petition or not, the decision to institute and prosecute a presidential election petition is a very, very serious matter and ought to be treated as such, because a presidential election petition is not an ordinary litigation. Gathering evidence from such a constituency, evaluating that evidence by the lawyers, and eventually presenting it to court within the prescribed 15 days.
On the issue of costs, the panel was divided. The majority ruled that each party should bear its own costs, explaining that while the law provides the petitioner to pay costs upon withdrawal of the petition, however, justices noted that this will not aid national healing after the contested election. However, in a separate judgment, Justice Christopher Madrama argued that the petition ordinarily bears the consequences, including costs, and Parliament provided for costs to discourage speculative petitions. Speaking to journalists after the ruling, NRM's lawyer Enoka Barata welcomed the decision, insisting that the 2026 general elections were free and fair. He, however, expressed disappointment that court towards the costs.
We are happy that court, even if it is a withdrawal, the Supreme Court agrees with us that essentially no evidence had been presented, and in fact emphasizes that the next time any petitioner ought to rethink their decision very carefully.
The petitioner Robert Kasibante, who was present in court, was pleased with the ruling.
To appreciate the court of Uganda, the Supreme Court of Uganda, for the good judgment. And also, they got to know that we are peasant because we don't have money. How can you pay the costs which the other respondent was asking? So I want to appreciate court for that, for the good ruling.
Deborah Namamonde, Viola Nansubuga, UBC News.